Why do people fall in love with you? Is it because you're beautiful? Is it because you're successful? Or perhaps because you have the perfect personality? So many of us spend our whole lives chasing these things, believing they are the key to being loved. But what if everything we thought about love was wrong? Look around you. Every day, people fall deeply in love with others who do not fit society's perfect mold. Meanwhile, those who seem to have it all, the looks, the money, the status, sometimes struggle to find real, lasting love. Isn't that strange? It is as though there is a puzzle piece we are all missing. We have been taught that to be loved, we need to be more attractive, more successful, more interesting. We chase these external things as if they were magic potions of love. But have you noticed? These things might attract people, yet they do not make them stay. They might create desire and initial attraction, but they do not create love. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone fall for a person who was not their type? How often have you heard someone say, "I cannot explain it. There is just something about them"? That is because love does not follow our carefully planned rules and checklists. The truth is both simpler and more profound than we imagine. After all these years of human existence, after all the poems written and songs sung about love, it really comes down to just two reasons, two fundamental truths that explain why people fall in love, and more importantly, why they stay in love. These two reasons have nothing to do with your bank account, your appearance, or your achievements. They are not about what you own or what you have accomplished. They are about something much deeper, something that comes from the very core of who you are. Before I reveal these two reasons, I invite you to forget everything you think you know about love. Forget what movies have shown you, what books have told you, and what society has taught you, because once you understand these two simple truths, you will never look at love the same way again. And the most beautiful part? These two reasons are within everyone's reach. They do not require you to change who you are. In fact, they require exactly the opposite. They require you to become more authentically yourself, to live in authenticity. Are you ready to discover what they are? The first reason people fall in love with you is something almost magical. You awaken life in them, what we will call aliveness. But what does that really mean? Imagine feeling as though you are walking through life in a fog, going through the same motions day after day. Then suddenly you meet someone who makes the colors brighter, the music clearer, and the air fresher. That is what it means to awaken aliveness in someone. This is not about being the loudest person in the room or having the most exciting lifestyle. It is far simpler and far more powerful. When you are truly alive, when you are living from your heart without fear, without pretense, you become like a flame that lights up everything around you. People can feel it even if they cannot explain it. Think about children playing in a park. They are not trying to impress anyone. They are simply fully present, completely absorbed in the joy of the moment. That is pure aliveness. Or watch an artist lost in their work, a musician caught in the flow of music, or someone laughing without worrying how they look. That energy is infectious. It reminds others what it feels like to be truly alive. But here is where many people misunderstand. They think being alive means always being exciting, always being on, always having something clever to say. They exhaust themselves trying to be entertaining. Yet true aliveness is not about performance. It is about presence. It is about being real, being here, being now. When you meet someone who embodies this quality, something shifts inside you. Perhaps they tell stories with genuine enthusiasm. Perhaps they listen with complete attention. Perhaps they dance as if no one is watching, or cry without shame. Whatever it is, their authenticity reminds you that it is acceptable to be fully human. This aliveness is like a key that unlocks something in others. In their presence, you find yourself laughing more easily, dreaming more freely, and feeling more deeply. You start remembering parts of yourself you had forgotten. your own sense of aliveness begins to stir and wake up. That is why this kind of attraction goes so much deeper than looks or status. When someone awakens life in you, they are not merely giving you temporary excitement. They are reminding you of who you really are. They are helping you remember what it feels like to be fully alive. And here is the beautiful news. This quality is not something you need to learn or fake. It is already within you. It arises when you stop trying to be impressive and start being real. When you allow yourself to feel what you feel, to love what you love, and to care about what you care about without apology, that is authenticity, that is aliveness. But awakening life in others is only half the story. While this fire is essential, fire alone is not sufficient for lasting love. That is why there is a second reason, equally important, that makes people fall in love and stay in love. The second reason people fall in love with you is just as powerful, but in a completely different way. With you, they feel at home. Consider that word, home, not merely a physical place, but that deep feeling of being able to exhale completely, of letting your guard down, of being truly safe. This is emotional safety. This is sanctuary. In a world where everyone is trying to be something, prove something, and protect themselves, finding someone who lets you simply be is like finding water in a desert. With most people, we wear masks. We carefully edit our words. We hide our fears, our quirks, our uncertainties. But with someone who feels like home, all of that falls away. Imagine being with someone around whom you do not need to pretend to be smarter, stronger, or more confident than you are. Where you can say, I am scared, or I do not know, without fear of judgment. Where your flaws do not make you less lovable, but more human. That is what it means to be someone's emotional sanctuary. This kind of safety is not about being perfect or always saying the right thing. It is about acceptance, deep, genuine acceptance. When you truly accept yourself, flaws and all, you naturally extend that same acceptance to others. You do not need them to be perfect because you do not demand perfection from yourself. Think about your closest friends, the ones you could call at 3 a.m., the ones who have seen you at your worst and still love you. That is not an accident. They love you because with them you never had to pretend, and they never had to pretend with you. That is the quiet magic of creating emotional safety. But this safety is not built overnight. It grows slowly through small moments of vulnerability met with acceptance. It is in the way you listen without trying to fix everything. It is in how you remember the little things they tell you. It is in how you remain steady when they are shaking. Each of these moments lays another brick in the foundation of trust. Being this kind of sanctuary does not mean you never disagree or never have conflicts. It means that beneath any storm, there is always solid ground. It means that no matter what happens, they know they will not be abandoned for being human. They know their heart is safe with you. And here is what makes this so powerful. When someone feels this safe with you, they can finally be themselves. Not the version they show at work, not the face they put on for social media, but their real, raw, beautiful self. In your presence, they can finally remove the heavy armor they carry through the world. But remember, you cannot offer this sanctuary to others if you have not created it within yourself first. You cannot be a safe harbor if you are constantly at war with yourself. That is why self-acceptance is not selfish. It is the foundation of being able to truly love others. When you combine this quality of being home with the aliveness we discussed earlier, something extraordinary happens. You create a space where people can feel both excited and peaceful, both adventurous and secure, and that is where the real magic of love begins. Now here is where these two reasons come together in a beautiful dance. Think of love like a fire in a fireplace. You need both the warmth of the flame and the safety of the hearth. One without the other simply does not work. When you have both, you create something timeless. Have you ever met someone who was exciting but exhausting? Someone who made every day an adventure but never gave you a moment of peace? That is what happens when there is only aliveness without the safety of home. It is like trying to live in constant summer. You burn out. You need winter's rest as well. Or perhaps you have experienced the opposite, a relationship that felt completely safe, yet slowly faded from lack of spark, like a comfortable old chair that puts you to sleep. Many marriages fall into this trap. They become so secure, so routine, that both people forget how to be alive with each other. The fire goes out. Only ashes remain. Real love needs both. Consider your favorite memories with someone you love. Usually they are a mix of excitement and comfort. Perhaps you are having an adventure together, yet you feel completely safe because you are with them. Or perhaps you are simply sitting quietly together, and there is an alive, electric feeling in the silence. It is like dancing. Sometimes you move fast, sometimes you move slow, sometimes you spin and twirl, other times you simply sway. But always you are held in the music together. That is what healthy love feels like. It breathes in and out, expands and contracts, rises and falls, but never breaks. Look at couples who have stayed in love for decades. They still make each other laugh, they still share adventures, and they have also created a deep sense of home together. They can sit in comfortable silence. They know each other's rhythms. They have learned this delicate balance between fire and peace. This balance is not something you achieve once and then forget about. It is more like tending a garden. At times you add excitement, plan adventures, try new things, surprise each other. At other times you deepen safety, listen more, hold space, simply be present. It is a constant living dance. And here is something beautiful. This balance looks different for everyone. For some, aliveness might mean traveling the world. For others, it might mean sharing ideas late into the night. For some, home might be quiet evenings reading side by side. For others, it might mean facing life's challenges as a team. There is no single right way to dance this dance. The key is understanding that both elements must be present. You cannot sacrifice one for the other. Without aliveness, love becomes stagnant. Without safety, love becomes unstable. But when you have both, love becomes unshakable. It can weather any storm and still burn bright. Yet there is something even more important to understand about these two qualities, something most people miss when they are low. Awaken for love. Here is where many become lost on their journey to love. They focus so much on the outside that they miss what is happening on the inside. They believe love is about finding the right person who checks all the boxes, looks, job, status, lifestyle. But that is like trying to build a house by starting with the paint color instead of the foundation. Society has sold us a beautiful lie. It tells us that if we simply look better, earn more, and achieve more, then love will follow. We spend countless hours at the gym, endless money on clothes, and years climbing career ladders, thinking these things will make us more lovable. Yet how many perfect people struggle to find lasting love? Consider this. How many times have you been completely attracted to someone only to feel that attraction fade after a few months? That is because attraction is like a sugar rush. It hits hard and fast, but it cannot sustain you. Real love is more like a slow-cooked meal. It takes time, yet nourishes you deeply. We have confused attention with connection. Yes, you can get attention with a fancy car or a perfect body. You can attract people with success or style. But can you keep them? More importantly, do you wish to keep people who are only there for these surface things? Here is a truth that might surprise you. Those external qualities you worry about are not what make people stay in love with you. They might make people notice you. They do not make people wake up every morning and choose to love you again and again. Ask couples who have been together for years what they love about each other. They rarely mention looks, money, or status. Instead, they speak of how their partner makes them feel. They speak of trust, of laughter, of feeling seen and understood. They speak of aliveness and home. But society does not show us these truths. Movies rarely portray the quiet moments of real connection. Social media rarely showcases the invisible bonds that hold people together. We are shown glamour, the romance, the perfect proposals, the fairy tale weddings, while we miss the deep, quiet substance of real love. Another misconception: we think we need to be perfect to be loved. We believe we must hide our flaws, mask our insecurities, and pretend to be more than we are. Yet real connection happens in the opposite direction. It happens when we dare to be real, when we show our authentic selves, complete with all our imperfections. The truth about genuine connection is both simpler and more challenging than we imagine. Simpler because it does not require us to become someone else. More challenging because it requires us to be ourselves fully, honestly, and bravely. It asks us to stop performing and start being. This brings us to the central question: how do we embody these qualities? How do we become someone who naturally awakens aliveness in others and creates that sense of home? The answer may surprise you. The secret to embodying these two qualities, aliveness and home, is not about learning new skills or following a set of rules. It is about unlearning the masks you wear, unlearning the need to prove yourself, unlearning the habit of hiding your true self. Begin with yourself. Before you can awaken life in others or be their sanctuary, you need to cultivate these qualities within. Ask yourself, when do you feel most alive? When do you feel most at home in your own skin? These moments are your teachers. They reveal your natural state before the world told you who to be. Think of children again. They do not try to be alive. They simply are. They do not try to be authentic. They do not know how to be anything else. Somewhere along the way, we learn to dim our light, to measure our words, to calculate our actions. Returning to that natural state is not about adding something new. It is about removing what is in the way. Build authentic presence through small moments of honesty. When someone asks how you are, tell the truth. When something moves you, let it show. When you're excited, do not hold back your smile. When you are sad, do not hide your tears. These are not signs of weakness. These are signs of being human. Create genuine connection by ceasing to force it. It is like trying to fall asleep. The harder you try, the more it eludes you. Instead, focus on being present. Listen without planning your response. Share without expecting anything in return. Allow conversations to flow naturally rather than trying to control them. Let your personal growth be about becoming more you. Trust that who you are right now is enough. Yes, you will grow. Yes, you will change. But let those changes arise from self-discovery, not self-judgment. From unveiling who you already are, not constructing a new persona. Practice being comfortable with silence. Practice saying, "I do not know," when you do not know. Practice letting others see your imperfections. Each time you do, you strengthen your ability to be both alive and safe for others. You become more trustworthy, not because you are perfect, but because you are real. Remember, everyone you meet is fighting their own battles, wearing their own masks, carrying their own fears. When you show them it is safe to be real with you, you offer a precious gift. When you show them what it looks like to be fully alive, you grant permission for their aliveness to return as well. This is not work you do once and finish. It is a daily practice. Some days you will feel more alive than others. Some days being authentic will feel more difficult. That is all right. The goal is not perfection, it is presence. It is showing up as you are, day after day, moment after moment. As you walk this path, something remarkable begins to happen. Without trying to make people love you, you become more lovable. Without trying to prove your worth, you become more valuable. Without trying to be special, you become irreplaceable. There is nothing more attractive than someone who has found their way home to themselves. And so, we return to where we began, now with deeper understanding. People fall in love with you for only two reasons: because you awaken life within them, aliveness, and because you offer them a place to rest, home. Everything else, the games we play, the masks we wear, the things we chase, are distractions from these simple truths. Consider every great love story, every lasting connection, every deep human bond. They all come down to these two qualities. When someone makes you feel truly alive and truly safe at the same time, that is not merely attraction, that is not merely chemistry, that is love in its purest form. The beauty of this truth is that it is available to everyone. You do not need to be the most beautiful, the most successful, or the most anything. You need to be real. Be alive in your own skin. Be at peace with who you are. When you embody these qualities, love finds you naturally, like water flowing downhill. Remember, love is not something you chase, it is something you become. When you are fully alive, you naturally awaken aliveness in others. When you are at home with yourself, you naturally become home for others. It is not about trying harder, it is about being more authentic. And here is the final truth that brings it all together. These two reasons are not only about romantic love, they are about all human connection. Think about the people you trust most, the friends who have stayed through thick and thin, the family members who truly understand you. They share these qualities. They make you feel more alive, and they make you feel at home. So, stop trying to make people love you. Stop exhausting yourself with performances and pretenses. Instead, focus on coming alive in your own way. Focus on creating that sense of home within yourself. When you do, you become a light others naturally gravitate toward, a shelter where weary hearts find rest. Remember, you are not looking for someone to complete you. You are looking for someone who sees your completeness, who adds their aliveness to yours, and who makes a home with you while letting you be at home in yourself. That is the kind of love that lasts. That is the kind of love worth waiting for. In the end, love is both simpler and more profound than we imagine. It is not about finding the right person. It is about being the right person, someone fully alive and fully real. Everything else is detail. The packaging may change, but the essence remains the same. Aliveness and home, fire and shelter, awakening and peace. And that, my friends, is why people fall in love with you, not for your achievements, not for your appearance, but for the life you awaken in them and the safety you offer. These are the only two reasons that truly matter. These are the reasons that last. Everything else is just a story we tell ourselves about love